Legend of Jian. Chapter 1. The Outcast of Zhongnan Mountain. The wind over Zhongnan Mountain didn't just blow, it whistled, threading through the pine trees and carrying the sharp, earthy scent of pine needles. It ruffled the dark hair of young Jian, who sat perched on a cliff edge with his legs dangling over the drop. At 14, his shoulders were already broad for a boy, but his posture hunched like he was trying to shrink into himself, like he'd gotten used to not taking up space. His fingers brushed the half-piece of bronze token at his waist over and over, as if the metal could warm the cold spot in his chest. The token was worn smooth from years of touch. On one side, the character Yang was carved deep enough to catch the light, and on the other, a faint cloud pattern had faded almost to nothing. It was all he had left of his mother, the third Holy Mother, San Shengmu, a celestial being and niece of the Jade Emperor, who'd kissed his forehead and said, "This will keep you safe," before men in glowing armor took her away. "You're gonna stare at that cliff all day?" A soft, earnest voice broke the silence. Xiaotianquan, young Jian's black dog, nuzzled his knee, his fluffy tail sweeping the grass with a quiet rustle. The dog was bigger than most mortal hounds, with eyes that seemed too wise for a beast, like he understood every word young Jian didn't say. Young Jian didn't look down. His voice was as calm as the stream he could hear gurgling far below, but there was a tightness in it, like he was holding back a shout. "Do you think they're right? That I'm a monster?" 3 days ago, he'd walked down the mountain to buy rice from old Wang's shop. He'd handed over the few copper coins he'd saved from gathering firewood, and old Wang had stared at the faint vertical mark between Yang Jian's brows, the one that showed he was half celestial, half mortal. Then the shopkeeper had grabbed a sack of stale, moldy rice and thrown it at his feet. "Get out, half-breed!" Old Wang had yelled, spitting on the ground. "Your kind's bad luck, just like your mother, the celestial traitor." Young Jian's fists had clenched so tight his nails had dug into his palms, drawing blood. He'd picked up the rice and run, the sound of laughter chasing him up the mountain. Now he pressed his palm to the cliff rock as if trying to erase the memory of that pain. Xiaotianquan whimpered, nudging Yang Jian's hand away with his wet nose. He licked the faint scars on Yang Jian's palm, slow, gentle licks, like he was trying to heal more than just skin. "I ain't no monster," he said, his voice not a bark, but a high, childlike tone that made Yang Jian's throat feel tight. "They're just scared of what they don't know." Stupid scared. Yang Jian huffed a small laugh, scratching the dog behind his ears. The fur there was soft, and Xiaotianquan leaned into the touch, his tail thumping once against the grass. "Yeah," Yang Jian said. "Stupid scared." A clear tinkle-tinkle cut through the wind then, light, musical, but sharp enough to make Yang Jian look up. At the edge of the pine grove, a man stood leaning on a cane. He wore a faded indigo Taoist robe, his hair tied back with a plain white ribbon, and the cane's top was capped with a small bronze bell, the source of the sound. With each step he took, the bell tinkled again, like raindrops hitting a porcelain bowl. The man stopped a few paces away, his eyes crinkling at the corners as he smiled. "Young man, sighing at a cliff like it owes you money. Surely there's better things to do with your day." His voice was warm, but it carried a quiet power, like the rumble of thunder far off in the distance. Yang Jian stood up fast, his hand dropping to his side like he was ready to run. Xiao Tianquan immediately positioned himself in front of him, his hackles rising, a low growl in his throat. They'd met too many strangers who wanted to gawk at the half-celestial boy, or worse, hurt him. The man didn't flinch. He just tapped his cane lightly on the ground, and the bell tinkled once more, softening the tension in the air. "No need for that, little dog," he said, glancing at Xiao Tianquan. "I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm Master Yuding from Yuquan Mountain." Yang Jian blinked. He'd heard of Yuquan Mountain. Villagers whispered about it, saying it was a place where immortals lived, where they taught people to use celestial power. But why would an immortal come looking for him? Master Yuding's eyes fixed on the mark between Yang Jian's brows, and his smile grew softer. "That's no ordinary birthmark," he said. "It's the outline of a heavenly eye, Tianyan, a gift from your celestial blood. You've got more power in that forehead of yours than most mortals have in their whole bodies." "Power?" Yang Jian repeated, the word feeling foreign in his mouth. He thought of his mother, with her ability to make flowers bloom with a wave of her hand, and how she'd been dragged away anyway. What good is power if it can't save anyone? Master Yuding's smile faded a little, and the bell on his cane went quiet. Power isn't just for saving, it's for choosing. Choosing to do what's right, even when the world says you're wrong. He took a slow step forward, his eyes steady on Yang Jian's. "I've come to find a disciple, someone who's got heart, even when life's been hard. Someone who wants to learn how to use their power." Well, Yang Jian's throat felt dry. He thought of his mother, trapped somewhere he couldn't reach. He thought of old Wong's sneers, of the way everyone avoided him. He thought of Xiao Tianquan, who was still growling, but whose tail had stopped, like he was listening to. Would you teach me to save my mother?" Yang Jian asked, his voice so quiet he almost didn't hear it himself. Master Yuding's eyes softened. He nodded, once, slowly. "I can teach you to be strong, to see the truth. But saving her? That's a choice you'll have to make, and a fight you'll have to win. No one can do that for you." He turned, gesturing toward the west, where the sun was starting to dip below the mountains, painting the sky pink and gold. Yuquan Mountain is that way. If you want to learn, you can come with me, but only if you're ready to stop hiding and start fighting. Yang Jian looked at Xiao Tianquan. The dog met his eyes, then dipped his head, like he was saying, "Let's go." Yang Jian's fingers closed around the bronze token at his waist, the metal warm now, like it was agreeing too. He took a step forward, away from the cliff, away from the loneliness of Zhongnan Mountain, and followed Master Yuding into the pine grove. The wind still blew, but this time it didn't feel like it was pushing him back. It felt like it was carrying him forward toward something new. Xiao Tianquan trotted at his heels, his growl gone, replaced by a happy woof, and somewhere in the distance the bell on Master Yuding's cane tinkled again, light, hopeful, like the start of a story.